having spent time in San Diego because of your business, you know that generally speaking, we as San Diegans don't think anything ever gets done here.
Ever.
You got to realize that Petco Park was a hole in the ground with rusted steel beams coming out of the ground for 2 years as they were fighting lawsuits. And Larry can tell you more about that. And so we never expected the Chargers to leave. Then we never expected anything to ever happen with Qualcomm Stadium. And very frankly, I really didn't think a lot was going to happen with the sports arena site. But I will say this, I mean, not to, make this anything more than, we'd like to hear more about the project, but, this is the mayor. I mean, this mayor has the Charger blood on his hands, truth be told. And before he leaves office, he's trying to make some things right. He's trying to walk out the door saying, hey, the Chargers may have left and the soccer team didn't come, but we did get the San Diego State thing done. And by the way, also out on the way out the door, look at the great thing we're going to do down here at the arena. So, Chuck, what is going to happen down there and when?
Sure. Well, listen, I mean, I'll use a baseball analogy. I could say we're in the first inning, but I think we're about to exchange lineup cards. When you think of city building, for lack of a better term, I mean, think of LA Live, which AEG built and developed. Those things are years in the planning and construction. So, while I would love to tell you that the tower cranes will be up next week, I mean, they won't be because, we have to come to a ultimate deal with the city, which again, I think the city has been great so far. And I don't think that's going to be a problem. Then we ultimately, with a lot of community input and with a lot of thoughtful process, need to figure out what ultimately happens on the 48 acres. And, it starts with the vision that we have and the vision that the city ultimately decided to pick was one that is of a really thoughtfully created master plan. Not just slapping a bunch of different divergent parts together and saying, here's a solution. We spent a lot of time and worked with some of the best architects in the world on creating what this master plan vision can be, that answers a lot of the community's needs. It starts with housing. That's a big step, number one. Places that are walkable, abundant green spaces, which was clear from the city. And the issue of what happens with Pechanga Arena, what happens with the sports arena. And what ultimately happens there is going to be the end result of a really good iterative, intuitive process working with the community. I mean, there's a great community group already in place that put the vision forward a few years ago about what the Midway Pacific Highway sports arena area should be. We're playing off of that. We're riding on their visions, working closely with the mayor and city leadership. And as he said the other day, this is going to transcend the next mayoral group that comes in, and ultimately coming up with what is right for San Diego on that site. And again, it isn't going to happen tomorrow, but it's going to be a thoughtful process that Brookfield, ASM, the city, and the community will engage in to ultimately say, hey, you know what? Here's what everybody wants. Here's how we deliver it.
So there's no vote that this is gonna happen, right? Like it's just basically a negotiation with the city, because I feel like there's been so many votes for things that just ultimately never happen here that it becomes frustrating. And I think that leads to the thought that Scott said, like nothing's ever going to happen. So this is basically just a deal that you need to put together with the city. And then the height restriction thing is totally different, right?
Yeah, not so fast there, buddy. Like with everything in politics, everything is combined ultimately at the end of the day. The Measure E, which is on the ballot for this November, what it ultimately does is for the Midway Pacific Highway area, not the beaches, not any place else. It if the voters of San Diego vote yes, more than 50%, it will remove the building height restriction specifically for the Midway Pacific Highway sports arena area. And it will allow bigger things than 30 feet, which is the current limit under the zoning, to be built. So the answer is, while it is a different thing, it's critically important that San Diego vote for this to happen so that we all, and I say we all, I mean all of San Diego, can thoughtfully develop this area.
I think that area, I think that area has unmatched potential for this city, because a while back when Gaslamp was being developed, the Gaslamp turned the downtown area into a place to be. And I think the sports arena area can revitalize a really underutilized area of San Diego. It's close to the airport. It's close to the freeways. It's close to the beaches. And that rendering that I saw, that because Alex is our render guy, he's a render master, I would live there. I'm not going to lie, dude. I would live there. I would absolutely look at getting a condo in that area because that's going to be a place. I'm a walkable guy. If something's walkable to me, I'm in.
I have a question, though. It didn't sound like an arena being built there is like a done deal. So I wonder, would you be able to walk to games or concerts? Because, Chuck, I mean, just listening to what you said, I mean, it just didn't sound like it was 100% like, oh, well, one of the things we're 100% doing is building an arena. Did I get that wrong?
No, here's what we're 100% committed to doing, Scott, is we're 100% committed to finding out how best to do that. Building an arena or a stadium for that matter, and you guys know it from Petco Park, is an incredibly complex project. You can't just say, oh, by the way, here it is. It has to fit into the fabric of the community. It has to ultimately work for everybody. And so we are steadfastly committed to finding out how best to do that. Listen, the San Diego deserves an arena. I mean, it's an amazing city. And again, that 54-year-old building does an amazing job, but San Diego needs something new, whether it's a renovation of the existing, a considerable stem to stern renovation, or a new arena. It needs something, and that's what we're committed to working with this mayor and the next mayor and city council and the community to figuring out how best to do.
Okay, so
wish I could just say we'd slap it up tomorrow, but that's not, that didn't happen.
Okay, but I guess my question would be then is as far as the development is concerned.
Yep.
Would you say it's an important part of the roadmap to the future to make sure that an entertainment facility like an arena would be there? Or would you say to everybody who's watching and listening right now, hey, maybe, I don't know, maybe we won't have an arena there? Because if that happens,
I think it's a really important part because, I mean, again, for the people there that may have traveled north to LA Live and Staples Center, Microsoft Theater, or, have gone to any one of these other arena or stadium anchored districts.
Yeah.
The arena, in this case, or stadium or whatever ballpark, it becomes that vibrant beating heart and that energy center and that, to use a mall term, but it's even better, that anchor tenant. I mean, this isn't JCPenney stuck in the end of a mall. Yeah. This is something that brings the foot traffic there, that makes it a cool place for people to live, that they can walk to shows, they can walk to Gulls, they can walk to Seals games. It makes it that really cool, like I said, vibrant beating heart in the center of it that then allows, beyond residential, allows that, that entertainment district. Again, we're not trying to recreate Gaslamp. Gaslamp is so uniquely cool and so uniquely downtown and ballpark and convention center centric. This is something completely different. It's something that's going to emerge out of the brains of people a lot smarter than me to say, what's the mix of restaurants and bars and smaller, entertainment venues and live workspace and flex workspace and stuff like that to, again, create that neighborhood. That's really what we're doing, is creating a neighborhood, and that arena needs to be the beating heart of it.
Gosh,
but there is a chance that
I hope that happens.
But there is a chance that you guys come to the solution or the point where an arena isn't really viable. Like, that's still a possibility where you can get everything passed and everything in November goes the way you want it, and then you just decide, there really isn't a place for an arena. That still could happen. Well,
no, I mean, okay, so you're right and you're wrong. You're right technically, I guess, because, the best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. Mm-hmm. But I think where you're a little bit off in that, Alex, is that at the end of the day, everybody kind of wants this to happen.
Yeah, it's just a negative San Diegan in me.
I know.
It's not you. It's not you.
I heard all the stories, and I've lived it about San Diegans can't have nice things and all that stuff. All I have to say is look at Petco Park, look at what's happened at SDSU West, look what's going to happen here. I hope those days are in the rearview mirror for San Diego. I truly do.
And listen, let's face it. I mean, Chuck, if one thing we should be confident is if we hear what you said about your own resume, what you've done in your career, where you've been. I mean, they don't bring in guys like you to jerk around. You're an arena guy. You're a facility guy.
Yeah.
That's why you're here, man.
Hey, you're right. That's what I do. That's what I try to do for a living. So yeah, I mean, listen, there's there's no doubt there is a strong will from the current mayor in this. And, I mean, listen, anything can happen in a mayoral election, so who knows what happens next. But we'll deal with it. I mean, one of the reasons the city picked us is this is not the first rodeo. I mean, Brookfield has developed these mixed-use places all over the world. ASM Global runs arenas, stadiums, convention centers all over the world. And so we're able to withstand the bumps in the road that happen in these processes. We're both incredibly well-capitalized companies, and we understand that this is absolutely a marathon and not a sprint.